Ladies and gentlemen, on the Shred Gaming Silicon video, we're going to be taking a look at the Windows 10 technical preview. This is the latest version that's available as of late March 2015. If you want the exact build number, it's at the bottom right hand corner there. So yeah, we're going to be discussing this. We're going to be talking a little bit about DX12, the migration process, and a few other bits and bobs as well, and just kind of my thoughts and opinions. So, I am indeed using, well, upgrading from Windows 8.1, should I say, and it was pretty easy. Just basically downloaded the upgradable executable, and you just double-click, runs, and it installs everything. For me, it was pretty painless. I'm not suggesting you do it without backup. I didn't really have anything on my C drive that I particularly gave a crap about, so I didn't bother to back up my C. But you should do if you do care about it. And secondly, you probably shouldn't do it on a production machine if required, because it's not a finished operating system. There are some bugs. For example, you'll notice this little search majig. I can click on it a billion times and it doesn't load. Now, it does work if I restart the machine for a certain amount of time, but if I load certain applications or do certain things, it'll just basically fall over. I was going to restart to show you it, but at the moment it's really finicky and not 100% finished. So I kind of didn't think it was worth it. But in terms of all of the applications, they all work. You can see that the start menu, all of that's great, you know, all of that's shiny, and all the bits and bobs work, and it's kind of cool, I've got to say. We'll be going through random little bits and bobs. You can see that when you first start, you even get access to the frequently asked programs, and yeah, that's just random crap that I happen to be looking at, including some GDC analysis stuff that I will be going into over the next few days, which is part of the DX12 stuff. And for the most part, all of this stuff works pretty much as you would expect. That you will notice some different icons. For example, let's just assume we go to C drive just for the sake of argument. You can see that, you know, there are some changes there. I don't know if Windows, yeah, okay, we still have some old crap Windows, mostly the driver stores. You can't just delete the old version of the old install of the Windows folder by shift deleting. That just will not work. You have to do it via drive cleanup in case you do want to go that route and basically free up your space. Just saying. But regardless, most of it does work pretty similarly. But I do want to show you some DX12 stuff. This is not the full preview or anything like that. It's just me giving examples. So, I ran using 3D Mark DX12 tests. You can see the system that I'm running on in the top over there. And what you can see is the DX11 is roughly doubling its performance if you go multi-threaded on a 4770K. I will be testing this on a variety of different processors. I'm only running this at 720p as it was just an initial test. But, I mean, look at DX12. I actually thought I was misreading this, and I actually mentally kept on skipping over the 0, and I was like, no, that's not that much of an improvement. And then I realised, oh, yeah, I kind of mentally kept skipping over the 0 at the end there. I don't know how I was doing it, but whatever. It's pretty damn impressive, isn't it? That's a lot of extra draw calls. That's a lot of extra draw calls. But anywho, we can cancel out all that now. So what about the rest of the operating system? How does it function? Well, so far in the technical preview, it's pretty smooth, to be totally honest. I've not had any major issues with it. The various applications load pretty flawlessly. We can go to Chrome and all of that's working pretty much as you would expect, which is perfect. You know, we can Google. I didn't even have to install any drivers. All of that's working, which is kind of nice. Who the hell has a Facebook profile of that, for God's sake? Anyway, yeah, so my applications ran pretty flawlessly at the get-go. I just pretty much installed the technical preview, and Windows did a pretty good job of migration. I've got to say that the process took a long time, to be totally blunt. I actually went to the gym, came back, and it was just finishing up, which gives you an indication how long it was or how quick I was, depending on, I suppose, your way of looking at things. But aside from that, it all works rather nicely. But we're going to be going into some more technical stuff. So obviously if you press the Windows key, you do get the standard crap. We're just going to be going into bits and bobs into the system so you can see kind of what's going on. You've got settings, various account crap, which I'll leave alone, system modification. You can, all of this is rather pretty, at least in my opinion. I'll show you some stuff of snapping and so on in just a second. I just wanted to kind of talk you through some basics. So you've got Cortana and Search, which isn't so much with the working properly at the moment. It's kind of, yeah, you can see that's just kind of not working at all. But it is a technical preview. Display, you've got all of the various options. I've got a couple of monitors running at the moment. I'm going to leave those as is because I'm using recording software, so I don't want things to screw up. You've got various apps and features where, you know, if that's your gig, you can kind of go through it all. But not really something I'm fussed about. You've got tablet mode and so on. If, you know, once again, you care about that stuff, which may or may not be your thing, depending on the system environment you're operating in. There has been a couple of instances where stuff crashes, which isn't particularly pleasant, but that's just how it is, unfortunately. As I said, this is not a full working version of Windows. This is like, yeah, there are problems. Task Manager, same deal. It's pretty much what you'd expect. You can go through all the stuff, and it's all pretty much what you'd expect. So there's no like major changes there. So that's, you know, maybe some stuff will change, but it's pretty much as is. Control panel items. I guess we can go into that as well. Might as well. So pen and all of that, other bits and bobs. You've got obviously access to NVIDIA control panels or whatever you need. BitLocker, all of that. Pretty much what you'd expect. Device manager, you know, apparently I've got one device that hasn't worked, but I can't think what it can be offhand. All of that just registered pretty much straight away for me, no problems at all. And most of this stuff looks pretty simple, to be totally honest. You know, we can kind of go through that. I'm running Router Fireworks, and you can change all of this stuff yourself. Pretty self-explanatory. Color management, autoplay, administrative tools. We can quickly go into that. You've got PowerShell access, event viewer, which I don't really think we need to go into any of that. Computer management, I guess we could quickly click into that. Yeah, all of this looks exactly what you'd expect from Windows. So for the most part, for those who aren't super duper power users but just like to tweak their PC, most of this will run pretty similarly. From what you've already expected, and obviously it does run 32-bit and 64-bit programs perfectly, so you don't need to worry about backwards compatibility or anything like that. I'll just show you. We'll test it actually. I've got Blender installed, so let's see if that runs. It does. So we can just kind of open something up if required. Yeah, there you go, and we can, you know, pan it and all of that. It does work perfectly, so that's kind of nice. Oh yeah, I was kind of learning Blender, but I haven't really had much time to throw into it, unfortunately. So I've been going through some basic tutorials, which is not ideal, he says, as he looks for a glass of water, for his water at the side. Even little bits and bobs like mouse support, it's all exactly what you'd expect. There's no frills here. Yeah. So in terms of the basic control panels, the basic operations, this is the Windows you know and love. So we're gonna cut that because I think most of you are probably getting sick of me talking about that crap. And even, funnily enough, even these views are pretty similar. So it's kind of nice. It's good that there is an element of, oh, okay, well, you know, you're not gonna not know what the hell's going on your system. That's cool. So let's talk about other bits and bobs on this thing, shall we? Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're just going to go into C drive. I'm just going to go into Windows just because, and I'm going to open up another instance of that. Let's go into, same deal, I guess. We can just go into another version of Windows. Well, actually, we can go into Program Files. Actually, no, let's not go into Program Files. Let's go into NVIDIA for whatever reason. Alright, so we can snap plat, and you can see that that does pop up, which is kind of nice. So you can just kind of click whatever the hell you like. It's quite cool. The multitasking capabilities, particularly if you've got multiple monitors, are really handy. And you can also go ahead and check by right-clicking down here. And you've got all the task views once again, so you can just quickly switch. This is not something that's super unique. Other operating systems have done this in the past, and to be totally honest, I'm really happy they have finally implemented it into Windows, because let's just face it, Windows in terms of multitasking has never been ideal. In terms of the multitasking environment for power users, it's kind of nice, but if you're doing a lot of creative work, it can be a pain in the butt. So the ability to actually have multiple desktops or multiple desktop views is, to be totally honest, something that's been in various versions of Linux and other popular, popular is a strong word of course when you're comparing operating system versus Windows, but it's just something that's quite nice. So I for one am quite happy they've implemented it anyway. So yeah, is there any particular problems with this Windows apart from a few bugs? Well, not at the moment, to be totally honest. Most of it, I've got to say that, I mean, we can even kind of go play it with the keyboard. Pew, pew, pew. Even that works. So they're doing a pretty good job so far. I don't really have any reservations. I mean, my personal thing with this, in comparison to, let's say, Windows 8. This is a massive, massive, massive improvement over Windows 8, at least in my opinion. Okay, so now I've loaded up the Xbox app, because I'm sure some of you are going to be curious about this. This is using a really old account, because frankly, I figure that's probably the best one to show you so I don't get bugged. So, this basically allows you to access friends. Don't, by the way, bother to add me on this one, because I never use it. This was last used like about 5 years ago. So it's a miracle I even remember the bloody password for it. You're welcome to add me on the other accounts, and everyone probably knows what they are by now. But yeah, anyway. So you can do pretty much everything you'd expect. In fact, you can see how bloody old some of the games that I've played are. I'm just going to be going through some crap, just so you can see. Achievements. Yeah, that's how old some of my games are. Dark Souls 2, Castlevania. Yeah, I think you kind of get the idea of Jesus. This is pretty old stuff. But anyway, so yeah, it works really well actually. I've got to say, you've got through the Xbox Store if you so want, and obviously you can buy games on that. We'll just have a quick look at this, because I'm sure some of you are going to be curious. If you want to, I suppose you can check these out. Personally, I'm just showing you all the bits and bobs. Films, yeah, okay, games, okay, films aren't working yet, apps, I suppose. You've got all Facebook and all that crap, which I don't know why you wouldn't access it in browser, but that's just me, I suppose. But anyway, so yeah, we can cancel out that now. Don't actually know what some of these bits and bobs do, so we're just going to click through our TV channels, click on that, sign out, and you've got all your versions. You've got the Twitch crap, notify me when friends, pretty self-explanatory stuff. It's kind of nice though. So if you're interested in some Xbox integration, then you've got this. Why in the hell have I got that avatar? I'm sure I didn't used to have that. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, so it's kind of nice. You've obviously got a lot of bug suggestions on this version. So basically, yeah, if you want to kind of be actually helpful, you can do that. Oh, and check out that lovely new background. That's kind of awesome, at least in my opinion. You've got various options, however, of course, you can change them as and when you would like. I don't know why I said that like a robot, but it kind of just made me feel good. So yeah, Windows 10. I'm really liking what Microsoft have done so far. It's not perfect, but it is also still a, well, technical preview. Which is just something that we have to remember at the end of the day. Let's just close that for the sake of argument. We'll load up... What shall we load up? We'll go back to this just because. Yeah. Sorry, I've been kind of messing around with GDC stuff at the moment, so I've been kind of wondering what the hell's about. Let's see. We could actually switch straight to Task Manager, which is kind of nice, just by right-clicking. At least I don't think that was a feature from before. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but I don't think so. So yeah, there's a load of little navigational bits and bobs that are kind of nice, and you've got all this help for snapping as well, which I think is kind of helpful. We could, I don't know, maybe load up another window as well and snap that. It does work quite nicely, at least in my opinion. And obviously you can kind of snap one over the other. It's kind of nice, to be totally honest. Show windows stacked. So yeah, you can even do little things like that. As I said, I've heard this being referred to as a poor man's desktop, and I guess you can kind of see why. Show the desktop. It's kind of, a poor man's desktop, a poor man's multi-monitor. But I quite like this, to be totally honest, and I think I would recommend others to check it out. And I think for those who are forced to use a single screen, it could well be quite a helpful little tool. But anyway, so this has been my just overall initial impressions of Windows 10, my thoughts and opinions. As I said, over the next couple of days, we'll be doing full testing on DX12. You saw a bit of a preview of what we've already done in the 3D Mark image just there, but there'll be a lot more of it coming up, and I'll be letting you guys know the performance. Obviously, DX12 is still being worked on, so we can't take it as, yeah, this is the final performance for the final version. And obviously, AMD and NVIDIA are also optimizing their stuff, and hopefully we'll also have some comparisons versus Mantle as well. But, with all of that said, hopefully you found this somewhat informative / interesting / something. And, yeah, so I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.